I'm resident of Collinwood for YouTube. Joel Saints. That is Barry McClain Jr. That is Cara Tillitz. We are here to talk Twin Peaks. Let's get this right. Fire Walk with Me.
Yes.
This was released shortly after the series ended, or
Yeah, very shortly after the series. Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you first watch the movie here?
Honestly,
That was recent for us. After we finished watching the Twin Peaks series.
For the first time, which is
probably like 2 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is only my second time watching this. I have not watched this in a long time.
Yeah.
It's kind of a hard one to watch. I mean, for me personally.
It is hard to watch.
It's not something I want to watch all the time.
After you watch the show proper and you watch this, it's a real hard pill to swallow. I think David was trying to shove a lot in at one time in terms of what happened that week.
Yeah.
That week.
Yeah.
There was a movie we did, well, not the three of us, but it was me, Patrick, and Gordon, and I think Alan. I'm pretty sure Alan was there. We did a Mickey Spillane movie. I forget what it was called. Kiss Me Deadly, I think.
Okay.
Do you guys think that Lynch drew any inspiration from Spillane at all?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Because it was certain thing, that type of storytelling, the doubling back, prequel-esque type of writing.
Yeah.
Maybe he did, but I don't really say it probably was heavy. It was just probably just because it was the writing style, because comic book artists do that a lot. Tell what happened to explain the future, by explaining the past. But I mean, that's a good pull.
Yeah.
That's a good pull.
It's very interesting because rewatching this, you see not only that there was a murder, you see how this woman was murdered from her standpoint.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was very brutal. It was so sad.
Yeah. How would you compare this to the series for those who have never watched the series?
I would say it's close. What would you say?
For sure. Yeah, it fits right in. Like it fit right in. Like it tied, like everything that we didn't get to see and just only got to hear of in the series. Like it was pretty on point, and it fit right in, I think.
Well, it fit right in, and you get it was more all Lynch, less Frost. When it's Frost, you get this soap opera-y, funny stuff happening. None of that shit was in there this time. You know, it was like he was like a typical Lynch film. Even though Lynch does put humor in his stuff, but this time it was like he was giving you the shot in the arm that you didn't get the first time on the show proper. Remember when he took over most of the show near the end of the show? When Frost started running out of ideas in a way to do the soap opera thing, that's when you start getting into the ethereal. And David Lynch put a lot of that stuff from the show that I overheard Frost plan on taking out of it in a reboot, or just continuation and remake of Dark Shadow. I said The Return. No, not The Return. The new, they're musing over a new show. Yeah, they're bringing it back. But Frost is bringing it back, but he wanted more of the comedy, funny stuff, which nobody that.
Yeah. Well, this is something you would have seen on an HBO special.
Right.
David Lynch, I feel, was more writing for that audience here with this. He does a very good noir story, mixing it with very cool supernatural-esque elements, making people wonder where they are, what's going on. In many ways, the way the woman lived is the way she died.
Yeah.
It's very and that's where he gets a lot of, I think, too, the classic noir. He keeps that element where
it's so noir that if you just put it in black and white, which he is known to do, you still eat it up. Maybe you should just watch it in black and white just because. You know, he kept the murder mystery, but the murder mystery was more in the beginning with the Chet Desmond part, and then you get Coop coming back to the scene of the crime where Chet Desmond disappears. But that's what the Blue Rose is meant to do. They hunt down the supernatural. That's what Chet was doing,
right,
leading them to get disappear. Where he found the portal,
right,
that was the cabin, the trailer. It was a portal. It was a ley line.
Here's what did you guys think of David Bowie in this?
It was a part that we all heard about, but when we see it, you're like, oh, that's Phillips. You know, that's Phillips. But you know, we hear about Phillips before, but he's such a key component to the whole story because, if I'm not mistaken, him and Gordon, David Lynch, are the founders of the Blue Rose.
yeah.
And they witnessed that murder of the girl, and she disappears, and the only thing that was left was a Blue Rose, hence the name Blue Rose. They're pretty much the, I don't know, like the Ghostbusters of the FBI. You know, that's what they are.
Yeah.
They only all their agents are clairvoyant and psychic.
Yeah, they do a really good job portraying that too with the characters because from David, I love how Kiefer Sutherland's character, it says, "I'm gonna leave," and like you have that moment, like you know something's going to happen to the other. Yeah,
to chat.
Well, and he kind of even said it in that one little scene, like in the car or whatever. He's like, "There's just one thing." He's like, "I know you're going back for Blue Rose." That's what he said, and that was Chet checking it out and checking out the.
Because didn't Kiefer say there's something about the Blue Rose? Why was the Blue Rose left? Why was the Blue Rose? He is a part of the Blue Rose, but again, the Blue Rose is pretty fresh at the time. Still, like it's still
he's kind of like an intern at the time.
Intern doctor, at the time he was like forensics for the Blue Rose. Yeah, and so Chet going back, you know, and finding the ring. That meant a lot.
The scene just kind of pauses and
you
know what happened.
We know what happened. We know because the car was still left there. If you remember, Joel, his car was still left there.
Yeah, his car's up there. There's something wrote on it.
"Let's Rock" was written on there, and Cara brought it to my attention that that's something
Diane says.
All
later on, like in the return.
Yeah, she says, "Let's rock."
That's like her phrase, like "Let's rock."
Let's rock.
So I'm like,
So was that her doppelganger that we see in the return? Because time doesn't mean anything in this universe, in his world. The past dictates the future, and the future dictates the past. And maybe that was her doppelganger sending a message to Coop, who had his doppelganger. Because remember when Phillips comes in and he says, "Who do you think that man is there? Who do you think that is there?" He was talking about, to me, how I interpret it, he was talking about Mr. C, his doppelganger that came out. Bob, whose doppelganger who came out when he hit his head on the mirror, that was Bob. At the end of the show. So that was like, "Let's rock." Because you see the doppelganger of Diane in the show and in the return. So all these characters that we don't see in the past and in the show proper comes to fruition in the return. We get to see the evil Diane and the evil Cooper. Right.
Is that why because time has no meaning. Is that why you never see anybody sleep here?
No, you don't. Except for Coop when he got shot. But in the movie, you see nobody sleeping in there. Nobody slept.
The only time you really see somebody sleeping is if we're having like a vision.
Yeah, vision. Having a dream, because we live inside a dream.
Like the fireman came and visited Coop in his sleep.
Yeah, because we live inside a dream.
Yeah, it doesn't even seem like they're really asleep when they're dreaming either. It's like they're half awake when they're doing
right. Yeah, exactly.
Like the way he filmed. when she's laying there, when the blonde hair woman is laying there in her own bed, there's that dead body next to her.
Right.
Is really a neat little effect. And it's like, well, she doesn't look like she's asleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know, bro. She don't look like she was asleep. I don't. When it comes to you being clairvoyant, you can see into the dream world. Like while you're awake, you can see things. You can see dead people. You know, you can see the ethereal. You can see the other side, which the Blue Rose members often do. But when it came to Chet Desmond was one. He was clairvoyant too. I think when he got taken, when he went to grab the ring underneath the portal of the trailer, that is when Phillips came back, because somebody's got to go in for something to come out. That's the rules of the Black Lodge. That even happened to Coop when he went in. Mr. C came out. Bob came out after he was trapped.
I'm gonna look up a name real quick because I want to make sure I get this actor's name right so I don't butcher it. Yes. Where is he? I know he's in here somewhere. Oh, goodness. Yeah, the guy from Alien is in this movie too. He's a trailer park owner. He like goes around.
Yeah. I think he metaphorically, I'm glad you mentioned him. It's like he was a farrier of souls. He's like a farrier of all the damned, and everybody that lived in that trailer was damned, and he took care of them. Even in the return, when they came to
Shelly and Bobby's daughter.
Yeah, Shelly
in that same trailer park as Teresa Banks and the trailer bark or something like that.
Yeah,
something like that. But yeah.
If this is the guy you see in a trailer, if you're living in a trailer park, just run.
I'm going to pour me a cup of Good Morning America. You guys want some?
No. I don't want your coffee. Just point me the direction out of here, buddy.
But he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He doesn't have any ill will. He's just there to be there. Everybody depends on him in that trailer park. If you recall, he in Fire Walk with Me, he says to Coop, he says, "I've been places before, and I don't want to go again. I want to stay right here. I'm just happy being here." So I'm sure he saw the other side before.
Harry Dean Stanton is the trailer park.
Yeah, the legendary Harry Dean Stanton. Legendary, bro.
I love how the FBI agent's like, "Hey, there was a trailer here." And Harry Dean Stanton's character's like, "Of course there was a trailer here." And
and he said it was two of them. What he said, it was two. What was the name of the family?
I can't remember the actual name. But he's like, it was an old lady and like a young boy.
Yeah. Who was in the?
Is that the old lady and the young boy that we see
all
randomly
time
throughout the movie?
Which is David Lynch
and the what's it called? The Dutchman.
The Flying Dutchman, which is the apparition that's on top of a convenience store that Mike was talking about. Yeah, that convenience store is called the Flying Dutchman, which is above, floating in the ethereal on top of the convenience store, and that's where Bob and the arm meet to get the Garmin Barboza, where they first made the deal, struck the deal when he was like, "This ring ID wed."
Yeah.
That was the deal. He was like, "I'll let you stay out if you give me pain and suffering," which is the cream corn. And the boy and the mom, the boy and the lady that lived in that trailer park was in they were even in the show, I think.
Yeah, I think
were they in the show for a hot minute?
Maybe
before they disappeared.
Yeah, the boy with the like the paper looking mask.
Right. That's David Lynch's actual son. Yeah. That's his actual son.
If you could put
the hair.
If you could put your kid in a movie, do it. Especially when you're David Lynch, you got the talent.
You gotta put your family in there, man.
I like how the blonde woman she sees him.
Yeah.
Like,
but I like he kept it like just so dry, and dry is when you see somebody on screen and they dry as hell. that's horror in itself.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary as hell. Remember, they seen her on the Meals on Wheels when they seen her when she was delivering the Meals on Wheels. Mm-hmm. Man, that shit was scary because they just appeared and then disappeared. Mm-hmm. And then they appear at the guy who hung himself in the show that was obsessed, had the diary.
Yeah.
They went to go see him. He knew them too. They had a piece of a diary, and then she was like, an old lady dropped it off to me. That missing page of the diary, Laura's the guy's diary, and when they were investigating in the show proper, and that's when they come full circle again. They come back. It's like I'm going everywhere, but it comes back to the center with Fire Walk With Me. He explained a lot.
Yeah.
I really like how they got the girl from the girl who co-starred in The Cutting Edge to play a much more different character in this movie than what she was used to. Because she goes to the bar with the blonde-haired woman, and she just picks up the glass and puts it down.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not expecting anything from her, but then she goes to the place where the blonde woman goes, and they have this orgy.
Yeah, they had a little orgy.
Yeah.
But that was Laura Palmer, the blonde chick, Laura Palmer. When they went there, it was the seedy side of that small town, and you know that's what Lynch liked to do. He liked to show you the dirty part of the suburbs, you know. And that was like a speakeasy that everybody went to, the one that Benjamin Horn had. One-Eye Jack. I want to believe they weren't at One-Eye Jack's, but it was something like One-Eye Jack's.
No,
One-Eye Jack's was like a high class brothel, you know.
It was like right across the border in Canada.
Right.
They were like 5 miles from the border.
Right.
I like how they show the gun and it goes bang bang.
Yeah.
That's all Lynch. That's all
the bang
Lynch.
bang bar.
Yeah, that's all Lynch. With that type of symbolism, you know, the bang bang bar in the RR diner. You know, the RR diner. Again, one night we're going to get into Sam Lake and what he does with the Remedy verse, but we're going to draw the dichotomies and everything, the similarities that he does exactly what Lynch does with that series, because he has a bar, a diner that's similar to that too. But back to Fire Walk With Me, we saw the murder of her through her eyes, but when we find out that it's Leland, her dad, doing that, we got to start thinking about the pain and the victimization that Bob put him through when he raped him and his little brother long time ago and possessed Leland's soul.
Yeah.
And made a baby, which was Laura, made a baby, and the baby was her, but he made a baby with a clairvoyant woman who was his wife. Yeah. Bob chose that, not Leland. So him and Judy were trying to basically pervert ultimate good by going back in the past and making good and raping good, destroying good, perverting good, making it do coke, making it do all these bad things, making it be a whore, making it do all this stuff. But it really couldn't stop. It really couldn't stop her because Laura is the light. Laura is the light, and Bob is and Judy is the darkness. There's always going to be Laura versus Judy, and Bob. She used Bob as a segue to pervert her over time, which she failed. But because she got saved twice. Coop saved her twice. He saved her in Fire Walk With Me, and he saved her at the end of The Return. Yeah. He saved her soul.
What do you, from a detective clairvoyance standpoint, where do you rank like the character of Cooper as a detective or
master detective? Master detective. He's one of the better detectives. Even Chet Desmond was a good detective too, to the point that he got taken. By mistake though, but he wasn't onto it like how Coop was, because Coop was chasing down Bob forever. With Wyndham Earl, and Wyndham Earl knew about it. Yeah. And Wyndham Earl started getting infatuated with Bob.
With it. And, like the Black Lodge.
Yeah, the Black Lodge. What is it in Ultimate Power?
Wasn't he like kicked out of the Blue Rose?
He got kicked out of the Blue Rose for it.
Yeah.
it's something very different the way Lynch does here. With you have an FBI agent slash, I call them detectives, but
Yeah, they're detectives.
Yeah.
right, where Chet gets taken. Yeah, he's smart, but he goes down a road that he's not expecting to be taken, and he gets taken.
Yeah.
And then you have Cooper come in and be the person who solves the case.
Right.
You do see stuff like that in other things, but not quite to the way Lynch shows it. And I do think it's unique how he shows it here.
Yeah, I agree. If it wasn't for that bunny trail Desmond goes down, is sacrifice ultimately. He didn't even know he was getting sacrificed. Because it let Phillips come out, who was a detective just like him, looking for Judy, and he gets taken. Phillips gets taken. Phillips, he was clairvoyant and everything like that, very master psychic, master detective, tracks down Judy in Buenos Aires or something like that, and gets taken at a portal in the ley line. He gets taken. Because you got to understand, these portals can come anywhere. They could be in your closet. They could be on the corner of 5th and Main. They could be inside of a doghouse. You know, it could be anywhere. You don't know where the portal is to the other side. That's why they call it like rips and tears in reality. You know? And that's what that's what David is playing on. You know, I truly believe it's a scary horror. You know, I want to say it's I can't even say it's that. I can't say it's that, but it's his supernatural is so nuanced. You know what I mean? Like so nuanced. You got to figure it out yourself. Like, oh, that's what that is, especially with the electricity and stuff, right? The electricity.
When you can walk into somewhere when a portal can open at any given time, it's sort of like, to give an example, a while back here in PA, there was a woman who was looking for her cat, and a sinkhole opened up. It's a lot like a sinkhole. They can open up somewhere.
I remember that sinkhole. Yeah, I remember that sinkhole situation. Yeah, and they found her too, I think.
Yeah, she was dead.
She was dead. Yeah, they found her body, but that's the perfect way to putting it, because you don't know where it's going to open up.
What, like with Lynch's work, where do you put this? Because this was really well done.
No, what do you put it at all the movies we saw?
I know that was going through my brain.
I want to put it as his best, because but it's.
But I would say it is one of my favorites because it's Twin Peaks.
Because all the stuff is different.
I
don't know. I'll probably say it's my second favorite, best one of his.
Yeah.
I would put it a lot up there because without it, and I love Konami to death, but I think without this, we're not going to get the video game Silent Hill in a couple of years.
We're not going to get Alan Wake. We're not going to get Control. We're not going to get Max Payne. We're not going to get the Remedy verse. We're not going to get Silent Hill without his work, period. But mainly the Twin Peaks stuff.
Yeah.
If he's screaming Twin Peaks, but he weaves it all in all his other universes into that. Mulholland Drive is weaved in with the Janie E stuff.
Yeah.
He weaves in
what was it?
He weaved in Eraserhead with the atomic bomb picture in the back of David Lynch playing Gordon in the FBI. He has it big in the back in the Return, and he has it small in the back of him in Fire Walk With Me. But the picture that he had in the Eraserhead, which he had overhead on a headboard, so which represented ultimate evil, the evil of man. We killed ourselves making the atomic bomb.
Yeah.
That's in the Return. That's where they showed the birth of Judy.
Yeah,
started
from an atomic bomb. Metaphorically speaking, from when the bomb was made, and you know how anti-war Lynch is.
Like pure evil was created into
when
the world.
man started learned how to kill itself.
Right.
You know, and we learn how to kill ourselves with atomic bomb.
Yeah, it's interesting because people say that John Wayne got sick from smoking. No, he didn't get cancer from smoking. He did a film in Vegas, in the desert, Vegas of desert, and not too far from where that is. That's where Oppenheimer detonated the bomb, like tested the bomb, and that's what a lot of those people got cancer from. The director died like shortly after, I think, completing it. It was an awful movie.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
but that's very plausible because that radiation is still there. We still have Area 51 out there.
If you go out to the ghost town of Tombstone, Arizona, just outside the town is the graveyard, Boot Hill Cemetery, and at night, if you get a camera, you can see the little green orbs floating around there. No one knows what they are.
but it probably it's just remnants of atomic waste because you can't get rid of it. I mean, matter. Period. Matter can't be destroyed. It just changes shape. So if you burn stuff down, the compounds down, it becomes fertilizer, grass, air, and it just repeats, giving life, destroying life. That stuff don't go away. I know it don't go away. Radiation, I mean, if it does, it just takes centuries to dissipate.
Well, that's the thing. That's another thing too. When you get into the story of I forget his name. I want to say it's Travis Walton. I think it could be from the guy, the Fire in the Sky story from Snowflake, Arizona.
Yeah,
I'm getting off topic. But back to Lynch here. It's really well. I like how when they're doing the drug scene, when he realizes it's laxative. It's laxative powder.
Right. Yeah, shit. Yeah, I like that part. Remember the part though? Bring it back to David Bowie. Coop is such a master detective. I mean, in the Blue Rose, you're supposed to pay attention to your dreams, and because it kind of helps. Because the real FBI do that now. Probably not so much with this administration, but that's a part of it. They do anything. They go through supernatural to get their man or woman.
You have to interpret
everything is interpreted
or dream
or think. Everything.
You got to interpret it all.
And that's actually true. That's what the FBI do. And so when he had the dream that Phillips was coming on that date today at 10:10 today. He goes into the camera. When the camera is like a camera obscura, it gets rid. You can see stuff on the other side with a video camera that you can't see. But he was smart. This is how good of a detective he is, that he decided to do that. Sit in the camera, go back in, sit in the camera, go back out, sit in the camera, go back in, and then he caught Phillips walking on the camera to Gordon's office. But that's paying attention to his dream and the usage of the camera. David Lynch wrote that in on purpose because how he uses the camera as a gateway himself in his daily work. Masterful touch on that part to introduce the one and only, the one and only David Bowie. It was incredible. It was a small scene, but David, it made you wonder a lot of questions. He was like, "What year is this?" and stuff like that. Like, oh my God! Like when you say that, it's like again, time means nothing. You're slipping in and out of realities.
Well, the second he gets a minute, Gordon's like, "Where the hell have you been?" Like this and this, and then he just starts, and then he starts to fall back and gets pulled back in
or out.
Yeah.
Of existence because when we meet Phillips again, he's like this little tea tanker of steam coming out inside one of the ley lines, and he says to Coop, he says, "It's slippery in here." And when he's saying it's slippery in here, it's like I keep warping in and out. It's slippery in my space of reality. Which was masterfully said and written. Like, what would you think it feels like?
Here's a question for both of you. If you could put a Dark Shadows character in this story, who would it be?
I would put Angelique's character. I'll put Angelique's character in there. And I would have her play like an aunt to Laura Palmer or something like that.
I kind of think it'd be interesting to have like Charles Delaware Tate.
Yeah.
I
think that would be interesting.
He could play anything.
Being an artist, being a painter.
He could play anything.
I think that would actually fit in well with the
he would be painting the murders or painting divisions or something like that. Because Lynch big on art, so he's an artist.
Nice, both of you. Good choices. I'll tell you what, the one character I would love to see would be Professor Stokes.
It's just like a Blue Rose agent, to be honest.
He is a Blue Rose agent with the seances and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like I think if Potofi were in there, he'd just like, no, I'm gonna leave now.
Yeah, he's gonna leave. He's more of a skeptic than anything. Yeah. He's a skeptic character. Yeah, for sure.
Now, for strictly punishment, I would just put David Collins in there. This is
I know.
David is for the hell of it. He deserves it. Anybody who was leader about their dad's car. But yeah, really good camera work by Lynch in this too.
Always.
How they go in someone's mouth, how they do the effects. What do you guys think of all the cool camera shots we got?
He does that all the time. Yeah. He does it in all his work. That's just kind of like his staple.
I mean, that's where you get the Lynchian term from.
Well, in terms of camera work. Yeah, in terms of camera work.
Definitely part of it, that Lynchian vibe. That camera work specifically is a big part of it.
The camera work, the long pauses in the writing. He does a lot of long pauses. But when it comes to camera work, I mean, like him slurping up the Garmin Barbosa, the cream corn, and then you flash to the blood, and you flash to her face, and his son puts a mask on, a white mask on, shows his face, put the white mask on again, then it's a little monkey. Yeah. And you're like, what the fuck is up with the monkey? Like, what does that mean? And, it's always that, what does that mean? What is that supposed to mean? David will never tell you what it means because he's like, what did it mean to you?
Yeah, in many ways, you get a lot of directors who are a lot like Val Newton. They want you to interpret the hell out of anything. Like they're not going to provide an answer for you.
Right.
Just you can interpret however you'd like.
Which is true art. That's why I don't like it when I'm drawing and somebody say you messed up there, didn't you? They're like, no, I didn't mess up. It's up for your interpretation. It's like, just because it's not what you want to see, if anything, that's showing your appreciation when you say you messed up right there. Like, I don't know, is it supposed to be messed up? Then I guess it is.
Yeah, like one of my favorite black and white movies is Vampire, and it's not in English, but it's not what I consider a perfect movie. No, but it's a very stylistic movie in art form in a way.
It's like an Italian film, and all Italian horror is like that. They are very colorful. They do a lot of quick cuts, very gruesome, but none of it makes sense in the standard sense of the term of storytelling. But you kind of get it because Guillermo del Toro tries to keep that in his work. He always tries to keep that in his work, as graphic as it is and beautiful as it is. He always tries to keep that.
That's one thing about Lynch too. Like, I think sometimes he gets a bad rap when he doesn't really do a lot of blood. Really,
no, he doesn't.
I think some
more noir.
Yeah, it's more with detective stories. You do get some blood, but you more get the inner workings of this is how the crime happened. But the way he works here, he works it a bit backwards. Okay, yep, she's dead, and you get. I can't remember the last time other than this when I seen a story through literally the victim's eyes. Literally the victim is telling you, this is how I died.
Yeah, I saw that happen. I've seen that done a lot, but it's just how he did it with this. After you watch Twin Peaks, it hits you hard. It hits you hard because you only heard about this murder. And then I'm like, why he give it to you so visceral and raw, which you do not get for like 2 seasons of Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get that at all. You get some gruesome stuff, but you don't get it this gruesome, man.
Yeah.
Like it was like, because it was sad with the rape and all that stuff, and with the beating of women. It was like really brutal. It was really, really brutal. You know, even definitely on the train, with the Laura Palmer stabbing and everything like that. He's like, oh man. He don't use blood like in a gory way. He gets gory with the makeup making monsters.
Yeah.
That's where he gets gory. He never gets gory when it comes to blood. He uses the blood as art.
Yeah.
Remember when he was giving him the pain and suffering on the floor in the Black Lodge? He just spills it on the floor. More art. It's more art.
I think too the performance of the actors and actresses is the artwork he wants painted most.
Yeah,
in my
absolutely.
opinion. In my opinion.
I know, in my opinion too, because that is more scarier than seeing blood.
Yeah.
It's more scarier to know that a man was raping his daughter for fucking 20 years. That's scary as hell. That no blood can compare to that. No amount of blood. Because I'm a gore whore. I like gory stuff. My movie that I'm a part of, we just won the best kill too last week. But
Congratulations.
Yeah, but that doesn't compare to how Lynch do it. It's just like blood curdling. Better lack of a better phrase.
Like Laura Palmer she does a really good job of selling this terror that's going on in her world, even though she's a drug addict. She's around some dangerous people, but the other people she's around, like she screams at the guy off, like who's coming off the motorcycle.
Yeah, James.
And then when the one guy shoots the other guy with the gun, and she's like laughing about it because she's
she was like, Bobby killed the guy. But that was I feel, I'm glad you said that, Joel, because I feel that was she fighting Bob. She was going in and out of Bob enjoying that pain and suffering and her being terrified of it. Yeah. She kissed him passionately, and then Bob was tearing away. That's why she screamed at him, I love you, James, in the blood, and ran away because she had to go. She was getting torn away by the entity within her. Masterful writing.
And you kind of see that as well, like when her and Donna are at the speakeasy, whatever, and she's like, don't wear my clothes, wear my clothes, like I don't want you to be like me. And you kind of see that you see it in Twin Peaks, like after they've learned Laura's died, Donna has Laura's sunglasses, and when she puts on her sunglasses, it's like she's this whole nother character, kind of like Laura was. Like
I believe that
it's like Laura felt like even her clothes were haunted. Yeah, it's like I don't want you to be like me. Don't wear my clothes.
But I used to do that. I used to wear my dad's stuff because when I wore my dad's stuff, I felt more like a man. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? It's about energy.
It's sort of like in a weird way, like when you talked about the sunglasses, it's a different way of sort of a weird possession in a way.
Right.
Yeah. Like we would, when we saw it, like it's different than the possession we would see on DS. Like when we would see somebody possessed, somebody would just either like Patofe when he kissed Jameson. Jameson was Patofe. It's not quite the same way Lynch is doing it. It's like, okay, a literal physical item like my glasses. Okay,
because those are your glasses, though. But Joel, those are the glasses I see you in all the time. So in the collective unconscious, that your spirit is in that. Like it is like this necklace I wear all the time. In the collective unconscious, everybody sees me with this necklace. If somebody has this necklace when I die, they would feel like, man, I could draw better. Something, but it's all about the collective unconscious. What is known to be of that object gives that object power. Like magic doesn't work unless you believe it.
Yeah.
Do you think Lynch researched like paranormal stuff like that?
Absolutely.
Because there are real cases out there like that of items where somebody buys a gun that maybe an outlaw owed, and they can feel that spirit within that person's gut in a sense.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
I studied this paranormal supernatural all my life. And that's how I can tell that he was doing those tropes in that. And he was doing it with very subtle nuance with the possession. That's why his possession isn't like with Dark Shadow's possession. It's more like the classic Hammer way of possession, like, you know, Hammer film way or something like that. But he was doing it more like real possession, like real shit. Like that's like your energy is in you, and your energy is in like your house is lived in and everything. That's why when my parents moved into our house, back home in New Jersey, and we lived right across from where the Battle of Trenton was, a lot of dead souls, and our house was haunted by the previous owner. And he was into the occult. We found skulls up in our attic, Satanist books all in the attic. He was really into it. He was a rich kid. And he had nothing but time on his hands. But that house was haunted for sure until it wasn't haunted anymore because he just seen how much love we put into that house with amongst the four of my family members. Yeah. He just got bored. He was like, man, this place is boring, man. They ain't even sadistic. It's like nobody ain't even evil here. I can't even, I'm leaving. So, you know, it's for real. The energy is real. The energy is real.
My mom only ever told me one ghost story, and it wasn't her. I believe it was her grandfather had passed away, and she was I think she was like 18 or 19 when this happened. It was right after me and my brother had been born, and she was laying in bed, and she could see him standing at the foot of her bed. She's like, what's wrong? He wasn't saying anything. And so she told her parents this. She told her mom and dad this. And what they didn't know was they did not put him 6 feet deep. And then they went and looked and investigated it. And yeah, they redug up his grave. They saw it was very shallow.
Yeah.
And then after they put him 6 feet deep, he never appeared to her again.
Yeah, I totally feel that because he felt that he wasn't close enough to the earth. Maybe I don't know why, but it felt disrespectful for him.
Yeah,
you know, like I had a situation. I'm living in the projects in New Jersey before we moved into that house, and I tell the story all the time because it really actually happened. So my parents go out. They go out for a night on the town. Me and my sister still in there at the house. It's just me and my sister. She's combing the doll's hair. I'm sitting over here drawing. Battalion from Image Comics on Stormwatch. I don't know if you ever read that book back in the day.
No.
And so I'm drawing Battalion, and then I feel across our room because our parents' room is right there. In front of us is the bathroom, and the living room is to my left. My bed's right here. Her bed's right there. I look up when I'm feeling it. I see just hunched over, like it was like wrapped in. It was brown. It was wrapped in nylon. Their windows locked. The front doors locked. Have you? And then I look up. I see it run by. I was shook. I look at my sister. She's looking at me. I go in an angry voice, "What did I see?" She goes, "It was like this thing hunched over, and it was like dressed in all brown stock." And I was like, "That's exactly what I saw." Because that's what you're going to say. Because I want to make sure that I saw what I saw because she's looking at me. It took us about an hour to get out that room, and I had a broom. We turned on all the lights. Tell my parents. They ain't believe me. My dad's like, "Oh, there's a crackhead running in the house." I was like, "The door was locked and the window was locked." But you know, your parents are going to say they don't believe it and joke about it. But me and my sister know what we saw. I know what I saw, and where I'm from in the projects, in Roger Gardens, there's a lot of dead people. There's a lot of souls that died, like gang shooting, drug shootings, domestic violence, all this stuff. That's unrest.
Yeah.
That's immortal unrest, and we just happened to see one that night. That was my supernatural experience.
You got a ghost story, Cara?
Personally, honestly, no, I don't. Look, I've never had an encounter.
Yeah.
Never.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't believe mine was. Well, I know my mom's was because she told me.
I know mine was.
I don't believe my encounter was a ghost. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've told this story before, but when I was I was 8 years old. My brother was 9. My uncle has this trailer in Oliver, and down beneath the trailer there's like a mini yard. There's a bunch of trees, and right by the trees there's a creek. Mm-hmm. And we would always go near it and throw stones in it and all that stuff. So we're running around his yard, and my mom's up at the house by herself. She's making stuff for lunch. And me and my brother just got exhausted. We just went by the creek, kneeled down, and I don't know what possessed me or him to look up, but we both looked up at the same time, and directly across from us is this man in this brown cloak, and his face is covered in burn marks, second and third degree burn marks. Mm-hmm. He just stared at us, and we stared at him. Mm-hmm. And I was in fear. I had no idea what the hell I was looking at. Mm-hmm. And we got up, ran up the house, screaming for. Mm-hmm. And my mom's and dad's friend had come to the house because he always would visit us. And he seen us. He says, "What's wrong?" And we're telling my mom hears us. She comes up. She goes, "What's wrong?" We tell her. She goes down fearless.
So I see somebody taking my babies.
And there's nothing there. Yeah. And I just believe it was somebody messing around. I personally don't believe it.
If you both saw it, man. I mean, you can't deny that because
I don't deny what I saw, but I don't believe it was a ghost. I don't believe it was a ghost. No, okay. Because ghosts don't leave footprints.
Right.
My mom said, "Come here." Because when she went around, we went around with her, and there was these 2 bare footprints. So somebody was standing physically.
Yeah.
Don't know who it was. Don't know if it was somebody just messing
But
around.
I understand that you say ghosts don't leave footprints, but I felt the vibration on an linoleum floor of somebody running by.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't a stomp. I felt the vibration on that linoleum floor. And she saw it, and I looked at my sister, and she looking at me, eyes wide, mouth open, and I go, "What did I see?" Yeah. And she described what I saw. So I mean, vibration can be felt. I mean, let's just take it back to just Ghostbusters, though. I mean, like they do that type of science, and they bounce off, use vibration and stuff, to catch stuff like ghost hunters and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you guys think Lynch ever had any? I'm sorry, were you going to say something, Karen?
I was just saying, like with entities like that or spirits like that, it's just the level of energy in the room, how much noise they can make, or if they can make a candle light up or something. It just depends on the energy in the room.
Yeah, it's all energy. Yeah. It's all electricity.
Do you guys think Lynch ever had any personal paranormal experience?
I wouldn't be shocked.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't be. I definitely wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. I would not. Mm-hmm. Because people do, and they often don't talk about it. But I mean,
I talk about mine all the time because it happened, and I want to share this story because it happened, dude. I don't care. And it also made me not fear the macabre, though. It made me respect it.
Yeah.
But it made me incorporate it in my work and my lifestyle. So.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like, I'm not afraid of seeing ghosts. I just don't. I know my mom saw one. I've never personally seen one. But with this movie, what's some of you guys' favorite scenes?
The part when they say, I don't know, was it in the movie? The girl screaming in school when they find out. No, but they flash back to that.
Not in the movie.
They didn't flash back to that. They flash back to it in return. Other than that, I'll probably say the beginning when the Chet Desmond stuff. That's like my favorite part when Chet Desmond goes to the trailer. It's lighting up. He's knocking on the door. Nobody's answering, but he noticed the key and he stops. And that's a classic scene that set the tone for everything.
I think one of my favorites was when they were at the private airport and the girl walks up in the dress with the blue rose and she's got her squinched face. And it was like, well, let me tell you about her.
Yeah.
And like just everything she was doing meant something. It was code.
Yeah.
Like this meant this, and her hand in her pocket meant this, and her tapping her feet meant this. You know, like
As parents of an autistic son, he's not as they would say remedial in the sense of retardation, but he's autistic, and he sees things that way. He sees things read between the lines that way. That I wish I saw things that way. I wish I seen things that way. And that part right there, that's a good thing to say. And he was like, and then when he said, David goes like this. And he was like, what does that mean? Like, read between the lines.
Yeah. I really love the scenes from Night to Day because there's, even when it's day, you're not expecting something from Lynch, he'll do something. From the trailer park sequences to the fact that in the middle of the day, the woman hides underneath this like bush and she's watching the house and watching the terror.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. And I really love the bar sequences they pull off here. The actresses do a good job of selling fake orgasms.
Oh yeah, they always do. They always do. I think that's their job.
like they have to sell all the physical stuff, and that's really great when I see actors just sell the physicality when nothing you know it's not really happening.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I
They're
mean,
faking
I
it
don't
good.
even bust them out like that.
They're faking it good. They're faking it good. That and the drive, the drive to the speakeasy is really telling because they're driving the one guy's driving very fast. And you always hear, well, the dead drive fast. And I always thought, well, somebody's in this car is going to die.
Yeah, yeah. That's why they call it. That's why the term "the dead die fast." I mean, drive fast. Hell yeah.
And it's like it's really, really, really well shot too. How Lynch shows it in first person perspective through too when they're driving too, and not just this scene too, the other scene too.
He does it all the time.
Yeah, it's really, really cool to see. Who's some of your favorite characters in here?
Leland. Leland's my favorite character in there.
Yeah.
He did the torture.
Besides Laura, you can't help but feel the most for Leland because that's just a story, just a sad story.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
Because when you find out that he murdered and was raping her, you be like, "Oh, that piece of shit." But then when you find out why, you be like, "Oh man, poor guy." But David make you feel sad for the person you hate.
Yeah. I really the fact that we get to see David Lynch as a character in this movie is some fun too.
Yeah, you see him in the show too. It's the same character, but he. Some people say, it's too it's self-aggrandizement. No, putting yourself in your work. I don't think so. I think all artists should put themselves in the work.
I don't mind when a director puts themselves.
I love that. I love that. I love when Stephen King do it. I love when he do it. I even love it when Clive Barker do it every now and then. I love when people do that. I love it.
My favorite director story where an actor who had to put himself into a movie was Mel Gibson's The Man with No Face. He tried to cast Brad Pitt. He tried to cast George Clooney. He tried to cast anybody he could think of to play the role, and everybody turned him down. And because it was coming on, you either have to cast yourself or ditch it. He's like, oh, God damn it, I'll put myself.
Yeah. Yeah. But that was him trying to do something here, and nobody just didn't want to fucking work with him. Honestly, let's just keep it real. They just didn't want to fucking work with him. Yeah. But if one does that, and you're the writer, I mean, I do it myself every now and then in my comics to the point that I just made a comic modeled off of me and her. Yeah. You do it because you want to fantasize about being something that you can't do and never will be, and you'll never see yourself. So why not play? Why not be able to play in your worlds you make? There's nothing wrong with that. That's why you're a creator in the first fucking place. Right?
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with putting yourself into a story.
I think it's arrogant that you think you're too good not to be in your shit. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, you're that deep. You take yourself way too serious. Man, my boss, my boss, Uncle Lloyd, he puts himself in his work anytime he can. Everybody movie, Uncle Lloyd's in it. So whatever. Say that shit. And when you look at your career, you ain't never in none of your movies. You be all bored. You be like, man, I wasn't a part of none of this shit. You be sad.
I really love to not just Laura's character, but her best friend too. You could tell they had a really close relationship with one another, and they genuinely cared for one another. It's always interesting to see it's always interesting to see the other side of the coin. When you're basically the best friend is watching her best friend throw her life away.
Decline.
Yeah,
definitely. It was sad. I was sad that the actress from the show didn't come back and reprise the role, but
Laura Flynn Boyle.
But the girl, she did a good job. She did a good job just the same. And but the character Donna in itself, it was sad. You know, it was sad to see your best friend decline, because I've seen that happen in my life with some people that I was very close with, and I seen them decline. I did everything I could to help them, but the path they're going, they got to go down by themselves.
Maura Kelly plays the Donna. She does a good job. She does a really good job.
Yeah, she does a very good job. Yeah,
she does a good job. She made me forget the face.
If you could have put in any actor in this movie, if you could have casted an actor to be in this movie, who would you have cast?
As one of the existing characters, you mean?
Sure.
That's what you mean, or just an extra character?
Either or.
Well, as an existing character, it seems a little bit more plausible. I don't know. I'll probably do Jack Nicholson as Leland.
I think it would have been cool to have Laura Dern as Diane when they gave us like that good 30 minutes in the very beginning of the movie. As like she was Coop's partner, or like not. I don't think it was his like secretary or anything, but it would be cool to see Laura Dern, Diane, before she went to the other side as well, because you kind of get the picture or whatever that every time Coop is recording and talking to Diane, you kind of figure out of your own interpretation that she's probably on the other side too. That's why he's making a recording diary to Diane.
Log,
So if and when they ever find each other again, which we do kind of see in the return, but it would have been cool to see her in that good 30 minutes before we went to Twin Peaks.
Yeah, that's a good pull, because they were just hitting at her the whole time.
Yeah. So that would have been cool.
That would have been real cool to see Laura Dern just at least once.
Before she left on the other side like Coop.
Or just to see her in the office when Philip came.
Exactly.
You know?
So that would have been cool.
Yeah. I'll replace John Lynch in just for fun because he put himself in this movie. There's another director who puts himself in movies, usually by voice, though. You do see him in the original, what is it, Assault on Precinct 13, John Carpenter.
Yeah, I mean, John Carpenter doesn't put himself in the movies because the movie is him. From the soundtrack to the style of it. Yeah. So he doesn't really play with that type of stuff because he is so into his movies. I can definitely see why Carpenter, who is my favorite director, he doesn't, because he's that more, his style is just so fucking rock. You know, he's so rock, dude. Like everything, like the music is enough for him to be put in it. The whole score is always him.
I like Ray Wise I think his name is Ray Wise in this, as the father, I believe.
Yeah, Leland.
But if I would have loved to see Joe Pesci in this too. As him, I think.
Joe Pesci, but I Joe Pesci, but that voice as a murderer, I don't know. It would be so annoying to me. That's why I said Jack Nicholson in that role. Because he got the eyes. That's why I said Jack Nicholson would play.
Just he's a psycho.
He's a psycho. He plays a psycho so good.
Yeah. Well, he plays a detective really good too in the movie Chinatown.
I love Chinatown. When he played the detective in Chinatown, I remember this is how old I am. I remember when Chinatown first came out. And when I was like, Jack Nicholson is a detective. I don't know, but I'm watching that shit. I'm like, oh my god, it was like really, really good. Like he even surprised me as a werewolf. I even like that. He's so good. He's so good.
And it was we went to go see The Wolf in the drive-through when I was a very young man. Michelle Pfeiffer, James Spader,
but the 6 Degrees of Separation. Jack Nicholson plays the Joker. She plays Catwoman in the same movie. What about that? That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Under Tim Burton. That's cool.
Yeah. I give this a solid 10. Lynch did a really good job here. I know it's probably not as highly rated as the other stuff he's done, but from considering the genre he's covering here with noir, and he's doing it very different. He did it very differently at a time when the 90s, a lot of things were very dark. You had dark movies, dark television,
dark comics. Wolverine and Punisher was the best anti-heroes was in. Everything was dark back then.
Yeah, the 90s was a very dark period. I guess if I could have picked an actor to be an FBI agent, I would have loved to see Sasha Mitchell be an FBI agent.
That'll be cool. That'll be cool.
But yeah, there's a lot of cool characters in here too. Cooper is an amazing detective. You guys play
amazing, dude. Amazing. He just plays such metaphorically speaking, such a Captain America, just a good Boy Scout. It's just so pure, so innocent. He's picked the perfect actor. I can't see nobody playing Del Cooper but Kyle McLaughlin. Nobody. I can't see no one playing that character. It just wasn't fit. It just.
What's your favorite noir film? You have one? Is it this or?
I'm not really into noir, but I'm well aware of its existence. I'm not really into noir though, but I did noir comics and everything. I understand the art of noir. I appreciate it. But if I'm gonna say one, I'll probably say Blade Runner.
Yeah, Blade Runner is a great noir movie. Cara?
Honestly, I don't know if I actually.
Casablanca.
Well, yeah. It probably. I was like trying to think. I'm like,
noir.
I was like, it's probably Casablanca.
Yeah, great movie. Great
movie. Girl.
Well, mine's Humphrey Bogart too, but obviously mine's The Maltese Falcon.
Oh, Maltese Falcon. That is a good noir movie. That is a good noir movie.
Yeah.
I have the Blu-ray of Casablanca, Maltese Falcon, and The Big Sleep. Great movies to go watch. And if you want an underrated sort of crime, it's not a noir movie, but it's a crime movie. Is oh my God, Key Largo is a
Key Largo,
Key Largo. But I mean, Heat was too, though. Heat was noir too. It was noir. He was good though. I like Heat, but it's not really my thing. I do like cop movies, but I'm more of a and crime movies, but I'm more of an action type dude. I'll pick Cobra, Sylvester Stallone, Cobra over any fucking thing. Like, I'm that cheesy. John McClain, James Bond, Die Hard, dude. Like, I'm cheesy. I'm a cheesy 80s kid, bro.
No, I know that's the thing too. It's like I like action. Action's really fun. Like I've watched so much like my grandfather used to show me westerns. My mom showed me horror.
Yeah.
So it was like a combination of I saw so many different things. And then when I got into black and white movies, it's like, oh, that's very interesting. So it's fun to watch.
You get bored with all that flash, right? You get bored with all the flash. You want it to be stripped down and appreciate actors in the method more. You see.
It was very like everything's very like when you watch Bogart perform, and it's very different from the noir that is now.
Right.
And, like you see a bit of Bogart and Cooper a bit.
You do. That's a good pull. You do. You definitely do. You might minus the smokes. You definitely do. You absolutely do.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the one thing. like in the movie, like Cooper's not like knocking after some woman. Like he's not. He doesn't have like macaw or anything. But he's very straightforward. He's trying to solve a case. He's much more serious than what Bogart's character was in his sense, but there's a lot of that there. You see that.
Yeah, a lot of that there. A lot of that.
So I have no more questions for you guys. You guys have anything you want to say, you can. Please do.
Well, the movie's to be appreciated. Being that it's Twin Peaks Day, I feel somebody should watch something Lynch. But this movie, being that this is the subject of tonight, it's the movie that brings everything together. Yeah. You know, it brings everything together. It is super tragic, super sad, but with that opening scene of Chad Desmond getting taken, it helps explain so much that David actually went back in the return and brought back. Like the lady in the diner that him and Chad Desmond went to, they went right back to that said diner. He brought them back. He brought back the cabin back. He brought the electricity thing back. He brought everything back from Fire Walk with Me, owning what is Twin Peaks, the whole mythos. And if it wasn't for Twin Peaks, we wouldn't have, like I said, anything of the Remedy verses and anything that we see in video games that try to model that. I mean, from these video game directors really appreciate that what he did, because his Twin Peaks, Lynch Twin Peaks, is not Frost Twin Peaks. Okay, they're two different Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And without this movie, I don't know. What do you guys say, baby?
I appreciate that from front to back, you don't need to have watched Twin Peaks to watch this movie.
No.
And I like that. I like that. I like that. And at the end, and like you're happy to have more to watch to the story.
I know.
Like oh my God. Well, what happened next?
I know.
What is there next?
Yeah, it absolutely is the next. But you're like, is there a next? Like after all that shit,
right?
Yeah, but it's a good segue. You're right, baby.
Right. I like that you could see this movie and not know a thing about Twin Peaks.
That's a good point.
And understand and love it, honestly. Yeah. So
I just thought of something. I'm sorry. Do you guys think we get X-Files if Twin Peaks doesn't happen?
Man.
I don't know, because I don't know. I would say no, we don't. The reason why we don't is because the Blue Rose, the X-Files department is the Blue Rose.
I mean, that's Mulder.
Mulder Scully
is like a Blue Rose.
It's the Blue Rose. I'm doing a comic book called The Redacted. It's basically the Blue Rose. No idea is original, bro. It's all on the delivery. Everything's derivative. Every piece of art I ever did is derivative. Every piece of art from our favorites is derivative. So always recognize what came first, and Twin Peaks came first.
Yeah, for sure.
Twin Peaks came first.
With X-Files, I love that.
We love X-Files.
David Duchovny was in Twin Peaks.
And David Duchovny was in Twin Peaks. So hell no, we wouldn't have X-Files if it wasn't for Twin Peaks.
See, like if X-Files never happened, I always thought that Gillian Anderson should have played the Phoenix in the '91 revival, but yeah. But they never did that story. They never got to do that story, unfortunately.
I want that Phoenix story so bad. If they bring it back, please do the Phoenix.
Yes, absolutely. When do you two want to come back?
Oh gosh.
Next time we talk some Lynch, we coming back. We'll do. Let's plan on doing Mulholland Drive.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. That is a good one.
We'll do Mulholland Drive, and we'll do the other one that's attached to it.
Inland Empire.
We'll do Inland Empire and Mulholland Drive.
I'm just saying now.
We'll put them both together. We'll do a two-parter.
I've seen Mulholland Drive. I haven't seen
You gotta see Inland Empire.
I wasn't ready for Inland Empire. I just turned it on randomly just recently. Oh God, never seen before, and I wasn't ready for it. It was good, but I wasn't ready.
So fucking dark, dude.
Like when I first watched what was it, Dark City? Like I turned it on randomly, and it wasn't even suggested to me when I was a teenager.
I was like,
what is this?
I was seeking it out. Because I was into Donnie Darko and all that stuff. Like again, it's the 90s.
Yeah.
You're seeking out this stuff. I'm huge into Clive Barker. I read his novels. I used to like his short story novels. And yeah, that movie, Dark City. You gotta watch that. You like me, bro. We were seeking that stuff out.
The thing of it was just coming on a channel, and I'm like, I've never seen it.
It's like a random Saturday afternoon. Yeah. It will be on HBO.
Yeah, right. It's like they don't do just random movies anymore. It's just like, here's what's slated.
I hate it. I hate that about the Hollywood and TV today. Everything's so product tested. Just bring me up. That's why Toxic Avenger is so important. Yeah. It was just random. It was just random. It's like 48 Hours.
Yeah.
Like, come on. It's just a random movie.
Yeah.
Blind Date with Kim Basinger and Bruce Willis. Random movie.
Yeah.
Overboard. Random movie. Like, I like random movies. They need to make more random movies. Like I make random comics. Like, come on.
Yeah, they don't. I get they have a schedule to keep, but I do wish it would bring back. We're going to show a Saturday night movie. You don't know what it is,
right?
Show it to me. Whatever it is, I could have seen it 50 times. I could have seen it no times.
Yeah, but God bless Joe Bob Briggs, because if it wasn't for Joe Bob Briggs, still keep that going. If God bless him, God bless him.
I remember very well TNT's Monster Vision. I know he does The Last Drive, and
before all that, I mean, when he had a show on the movie channel, he'll count the titty shots, the murders, 6 beheadings, 8, 9 tails cut off. Turn it like that's what I live for. I live for that. I live for that countdown.
He had the girl who turned into the zombie and Returned the Living Dead when she walked around naked. And he was talking to her. She goes, "No, this is not my first time being nude on scene." So.
Yeah. I mean, but before he had that type of tropes going on, it was just always a drive-in theater. And my mom got me into that because my mom is a horror girl. She read Fangoria religiously. I read Fangoria religiously. It was the internet before the internet. And I just knew more about this stuff than my classmates because of that book. And she just got me into horror, man. My mom, she's a horror girl. She's a scream queen for sure.
Perfect. There's going to be some links in the description box. Link to Barry's comics is going to be in the description box. Link to Between the Shadows, the Dark Shadows podcast. I'm sorry, I had a brain fart there for a moment. I apologize. Is going to be in the description box. Go check out those ladies. They're very, very knowledgeable. You have a great night. Be safe.
You too, man. I love you, bro. Be safe.
Bye, guys.
Love to the kids and wife. Later.